Good evening, everybody. Um, it's great to see everyone again. Uh, so I saw some of the assignments from last week. Good job all around. We didn't get a lot of submissions. I imagine some people sent messages to say that they were busy in the week or they were struggling with completing the assignments. So we'll be working with what we have. So today, some of the things we'll be looking at is after we review the assignment. So I'll be redoing the assignment online live, so we can see in case you struggled with it or maybe you didn't have a chance to attempt it or you completed it and just wanted to see what is another way to do it. So you get the chance to see that today. That's one of the things we'll be doing today, and then we'll also be looking at how do we design some social media graphics. So today we focus on social media graphics, especially Instagram, like the different sizes of templates that we can use for Instagram, what are screen orientations, how do we select a good template for our design, what are the limitations of Canva, and what are some other ways that we can get over those limitations. Because while Canva is a very, very simple design to use, unfortunately, it has some limitations because it's meant to be so simple, but it can't do some things that other design softwares can do. So, but there are other things you can do to, like, maybe if you run into a problem, so like maybe a design you see and you're trying to replicate it. So we look at some of the things you can do to like just address some of those challenges. And then of course, as usual, we'll be looking at a graphic design tool of the week, something that can just help you to like improve your designs. So let's get into the assignments from last week. We got 5 submissions. At least as at the last time that I was when I was preparing my slides for today, I had 5 submissions. So we'll be looking at that submissions and then just walking through what were some things that were done right, or were some things that could be done better in some of the assignments, in some of the submissions that we saw. Okay, so these are 5 designs from we got from the assignment. I'm just going to zoom in into the first one. Sorry, I didn't add the names here, so I'm not going to be assigning. So like later, I'm going to come back with the names and then give personalized feedback. But for now, I just have the designs. I forgot to put the names in the slides, so bear with me. All right, so this is the first design. First of all, what were we trying to replicate? This is what we're trying to replicate here. So we're going for this design. The main important thing here is that we had to use some kinds of effects, and then we had to use layering and just creatively arrange the elements that we have on the page so that we have like this really nice design where the text is in front of the lady, but then there's some of them at the back. So it kind of looks like she's between the text, kind of. It gives like this 3D effect. So that's what we're trying to replicate. And very good to see that a lot of people in the class did like amazing work with replicating this design. Now, these are some of the submissions. I'm going to be walking through all of them and just trying to explain the approaches that different people took, and then what I think can improve on those designs. So this is the first two. This is another two from the submissions, and then this is the last one. Okay. All right. So for this first one, um, I think the only thing here is the way this person went about it. So it's a very, very creative solution to use to separate your text. So this person did not write all of the design in one box, I imagine. They probably wrote DE in a separate text box and then put GE in another one and then put this SI in the middle box. So that way the ones in white can be at the back, and then these ones that have this hollow text effect can be in front. So that's one way to do it, but it really doesn't get what we are trying to achieve with the design. So what I expected you to do was to have everything together on inside one text box and then just use layering to like put them together. But still, what you got was it was still like really it's a really creative way to kind of achieve what we want. So this is part of what I mean by um, attempting and then finding creative ways to solve design. Because really, when you are working with Canva, one of the things you're going to be facing is trying to especially when you're trying to replicate something, you will be having some challenges about like how do you do things that you imagine other software, other design softwares can do. It's really just like including your creativity to find ways around those problems. So while this is not what we exactly wanted, I think this is a very very creative solution to the assignment. So well done. I think the person's name on the group is Brilliant Minds, I imagine. So well done on a very very good attempt. Um, Now for Christopher, this is very good. Now this is as close as possible to what we want. But the only mistake that you have here is that you did not layer the two texts very well on top of each other. Now, if you see the text in white, you can see that it has like a shadow on it. So the brilliant mind just for this sake. Okay, I don't understand the assignment, the comment by Akunme. So please, if you can help me with like explaining what you meant. The brilliant mind is just for this sake. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to continue. Okay, I mean, I put it just for that design. Oh, okay, 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 okay. So that's not your name. So I imagine this is Ifoma Laura's submission. So the first one that we looked at was from Ifoma Laura. Okay, so this next one is by Christopher, and then he did a good job of adding the color code that he used for this design. So as I was saying, you either did not layer the two layers of text. They're supposed to be on top of each other, so it's a really small thing, but if you are trying to replicate the design to be exact, this is just a little bit of feedback that can help you. Like, always make sure that your designs are on top of each other if you're going for this, because that way it makes it look like what we were trying to go for. So, like, if you see, if I zoom in here, you can see this S, for example. There's an extra like layer of background that is on it that we don't have in the original design. So you see here, this one is just like single lines. No, we don't have like two lines like merging together, for example. So that's what I mean by make sure that all your items are layered and they are not like conflicting with each other. But with that said, I still think it's a very very good effort with your submission. You have like everything that was asked of you, or the picture of the lady is very very well placed. The You did the layering very well, and then you used the holo effect very well. So well done on your submission. Now the next one here is this one. Now this one is how do I describe this? So I imagine you use like transparency for this design. So for to make the text a little bit more make it transparent. Now, this works if this is what you are going for, but you can see that the text is not as visible as what we have on the original design. So we can still see clearly what the text is here. It says design you need. While you're saying the same thing, but then the O, for example, in your in this particular design is missing. The SI in the design above is also missing. So what you're supposed to do here was not transparency. What you're supposed to do is layer two texts on top of each other and then use what do they call it? Holo effect to make it like sit well. So well done. Thank you for submitting. It's a really good effort. So I hope that the feedback helps you if you want to recreate something like this again. Now this one I think is probably the my favorite submission from everything I got. It has everything well layered. The texts are well placed on top of each other. We have all of the designs. The holo effect is um, well placed. Sorry, holo effect is well placed. We also have the layering well done. So this is really don't have any critique for this. This is exactly what I wanted to see from submissions. So whoever this is, I'm going to check back for your name, and then we would see if Adara has something for the boys, basically. So well done on this design. For the last one, is also really good. Maybe a little bit of personal like touch to the colors, but then still like very very good design. You did what was asked of you in the assignment. I just think the difference here is just a little bit in the font and in the color, because I wanted it to be as close as possible to the design. So it's not like you did anything particularly wrong. It's just the color consistency. That's the only thing. But overall, well done on all of the submissions. These are really really good tries. I didn't even know that people would be able to figure out how to do this. I just put it out there just to see how well we were learning, and this shows that at least some part of the class are catching up to what some of the things that you can do creatively with Canva, which leads us to our first poll. So Godwin, please, there's a poll on the there's a poll for today, so you should have like session 7 poll. You can just bring it up. So the question is to just check if people feel like they are getting like value from the training. Just like, do you feel like you're improving with Canva? I just want to get a sense of how people sense their improvement and their growth with Canva. Okay, so this is it. So the question is, I feel like my skills with Canva is improving. So pretty straightforward question, yes or no. So we're also going to give it like 1 minute to run, so we can get like a good like sense of people's perception of the training. So if today is your first class, you can skip the poll. But if you've been in 1 or 2 classes and you've tried something on Canva and you can rate your skills, just give us feedback. It's very very helpful feedback for me personally, and then also for Adara Foundation to help plan the training going forward. So please just help us with your response. I'm just going to let it run for 1 minute. Okay. So while that is still going on, so Gordon, if it is just like 1 minute or like maybe 1 minute 30 seconds, or if you have like a good number of respondents, you can just bring it down and then share the results so we can move forward. Okay. For questions, does anybody have like, if you attempted the design and then you have questions around how to, like maybe there was something, or maybe you just want to share your experience with designing it, or maybe any kind of feedback or any questions you have from all of the trainings up to today? Does anyone have any question before we get into today's content? Okay, so Akunle Laura is has a question. Do you mind coming up so we can like hear your voice and then you can share your question? Okay, while you answer, the feedback from the class. So we have like 90% of people feel like their skill with Canva is improving, which is very very encouraging. So thank you very much for responding to the poll. It's really good to see that your skills in Canva is um is improving. Hopefully that will mean that Adara will call me back and then they will pay me money. So thank you very much for putting money in my pocket. And also I imagine Adara Foundation is happy with the results we are seeing from the class. So because that was the goal, to help upskill people with graphic design. So Godwin, please can you bring up Laura to just talk about her question, and then let's see what she wants to ask before we dive into today's class. Thank you.
She's up. She
Good
can
evening,
speak.
sir.
Hi, good evening, Laura.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Please, sir, from the assignment, I didn't know
Okay,
how to, since the the picture on the design is
okay,
clashing with the test, how, because I'm seeing some people now and I'm seeing the amazing work that they did. They
okay.
just did it effortlessly. For me, I had to, because I cannot get that exact way of doing design. I just had to, figure out a way,
Split
and I know
it.
that I didn't do it well. So I want to know
Okay,
how exactly, if you can just like give us a practical,
okay. All
just
right.
how
So
to do it better. Thank you.
all right. Thank you very much for your feedback. Okay, so we'll be recreating this design. So I'm going to show how to do it. So if you attempted the assignment, if you did not attempt it, I'm going to show everyone how we achieved that kind of design. So I'm going to walk through, especially for the benefit of people that maybe today is your first or second or third class and you've missed like some of our previous classes and you've not had the chance to watch all of the videos. So we'll be walking through like how do we get a picture, how do we remove the background. So all of that is be like starting from the scratch. I'll just show you my workflow and how I would attempt this design. if I was going to. All right. So this is what we're trying to achieve. I'm going to open Canva now so we can just walk through this design and see how to go about it. So bear with me. Let me just open Canva so we can start. And please bear with me if my voice is really low. I have a terrible cough and it might be affecting the quality of my audio. So please, I'm struggling with some kind of cough. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. So as always, I am going to go back to my free tier of Canva. Again, this is an account I created for the purpose of this class, so it's absolutely free. There's no subscription on it. So everything I do here should be something you should be able to replicate with the Canva on your phone. Okay. All right. So the first thing to note is in the design we are trying to replicate, we see that the shape of the design is a square. So the first thing that should tell me is that I'm looking for something that should be the template I'm going to pick has to be like a square. So just from looking at the page here, you can see Instagram posts. Um, so Instagram has like a square orientation. So if you're going for anything square at any time, just always go for the Instagram post. So there are two types of Instagram posts. We'll be covering that later in the class because we're going to be talking about orientations and things. But for the purpose of this example, I'm going with the Instagram post template. All right. So if this is your first time and you're working with Canva, this is what you would get if you open like a empty template. So there are two ways you can start a design on Canva. You can either start with like a design that someone has that's like a template that already has like some elements on it, or you can go with like something blank like this. Okay. So the first thing I would do here is we first of all need a picture of someone of a lady of the picture of that lady so we can layer it on our design and then add the text. So what I would do is I would go to some of the sites that I get my free images from. So an example would be Pexels. So pexels.com. Okay. So pexels.com is a free website where you can download like free royalty free pictures. So you don't have to pay anything if you are using Pexels. All you just have to do is download the picture. As a best practice, you should like probably credit the person, but since we are designing like a basic picture, there's no space to credit the person. But if you're using it on like a website or something, you can add it like your metadata as credit for the person. Okay, so we are looking for a picture of a black lady that is looking excited. So excited black or African lady, something like that. Okay, so that's how you search. So now when you're selecting a picture, it's very, very important that you pick a picture that none of the edges or none of it is cropped out. Like the edges are not cropped out. So that way, if you remove the background, you don't have the struggle of it being like like you don't have to put it on one end. So like for example, a picture like this, one is a very, very good picture. I would not want to use this picture because if you see to the left of the lady, like to the left of this picture, the way it's cropped, her hand is cropped off. That way, just make this picture like it would mean that if I want to use this picture, I'm going to have to shift the lady's. I'm going to have to shift her to the end of the design so it will look exactly like this, which limits what you can do with a picture like this, for example. So I'm going to go back again to see if we can select something good. Um, so this is a very, very good one here, for example. This is a very, very good picture. It's very sharp. Lady is front facing. The background is very, very like very, very this like it's the background is different from the lady, what she's wearing and everything. So this, for example, is a very, very good picture. So what I do is I just download it. So once I download it, and let me wait for it to download. Okay, so now it's downloaded. So the next thing I need to do is let me just demonstrate why we cannot use this picture like this, for example. So if we brought this picture, and if you understand why already, please just pardon with me, just pardon my pace, because I'm trying to carry like the class along, especially people that just joined today, because I know we had like an influx of participants that joined over the last 2 weeks, so they might have missed a lot of the things that we have covered. So if you want to upload a picture on Canva, oops, you come to uploads. So at the bottom here, you go to uploads, click on uploads, and then you go to your files and select the picture that you just downloaded. So I'm going to open my photo library. It seems like I did not save that picture. Sorry. Um, can you can you still see my screen?
No, God, you can see your screen.
Okay, okay. So let me just share again. Okay, so it seems like the picture I downloaded did not download well. So I'm going to try and download it again. Okay, so it's downloading now. Um, okay, now so I've saved it on my device now. So go back to Canva. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to bring this picture into our design file to show you the importance of using a something like remove the backgrounds to like remove an image. So I go to uploads, open my pictures, and then I should see the lady. So now this is the picture of the lady. So I'm just going to add that picture. So once you click on add, the picture of the lady is going to come on the design file that we have open. Sorry, I think it's still uploading. Okay, so now this is the picture of our model here. Now there's a problem that we are facing here now. This picture has a background. So if I wanted to add text behind it, because of the background, it would be very challenging to do that. So that is why you have to, when you are working like this, you have to remove the background of the picture so that way allows you flexibility to do whatever you want with this picture. So now, how do you remove it? There are two options. If you are using like a paid tier of Canva, all you just have to do is select the image and click on background remover. But I am not using a paid. I don't have a subscription on Canva on this account. So, as part of the things I told you about, working through the limitations of Canva, something you can do is to go to a website called remove.bg. So I'm going to open that. It's remove.bg. And there are also other options. You can just Google soft remove background of photos online. You will find different websites that do it. In fact, there's one of them I'm going to introduce us because one of the challenges we remove the background is that it reduces the quality of the picture. So I'm going to give us another option probably tomorrow. I didn't include it in today's slides. So tomorrow I'm going to give us another option for remove the background that gives you good quality image and removes the background for you. So when you come to the website, you just click on remove the background. The same thing, you upload the picture here. So this is the picture of our model. Click on done. So it does all the work for you. You don't have to like start cleaning the edges or anything. It's done with AI and it has this really nice preview. So once that is done, you just click on download. Once you download, you save it to your device. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to Canva so I can show you how to So we can compare what it's like with this image and what it's like when you take out the background. So again, the same thing, you go to uploads, open your files, upload the picture of the lady without the background. 1 second. Okay, so now we have the picture of this lady without the background uploaded, and I'm just going to put them side by side to just help us understand why this is better. So this is the one without the background. This is the one with the background. So you can already see that you can layer things on top of this one without any challenge. So I'm putting this on top of the picture of the one with the background, and it's not a problem. But if I try and put this one now, for example, I go to position or layers, and then I raise it up to be the picture at the top, you will see that it will cover the lady without even we've not even gotten to the actual subject, and it's already covering the picture. So I hope that kind of demonstrates why you should use something like remove the background. Okay, now that we have the lady, all we just have to do is now just think about what we've learned about layering, for example. So now there are two texts that we have to put here. So first one here is we can just add like a heading. We can choose the font size that we want. I'm going to go for Montserrat. 1 second, let me just change the font name. Please, I hope you are following. If I identify if I'm too fast or if there's something I did that you don't understand, I'm looking at the chat so you can just call my attention to it. Okay, so Babatola is saying they can barely hear me. Please, chat, can you hear me, or is it a problem everyone is experiencing? Okay, so if am I saying they can hear me, please can anyone else give us feedback so we know how to address it? Okay, so everybody's saying they can hear me. So Babatola, you might have to leave and join back, or maybe just move around. You might be having network issues. All right, thank you. So if you come back and there's something you don't understand, just let me know. Okay, so I'm changing the font now. So I'm going to pick Montserrat, and then I'm going to pick something very, very bold. So we learned how to do this last week. I'm going to pick extra bold, or maybe even black. And actually, I want to use another font, not Montserrat. So let's use something like Anton. So now Anton is a font that is longer than it is wide. So if you look at this Montserrat, you see that it's like it looks very, very like it looks it looks like it's really like a very, very flat wide font. So I want something that has like length to it, right? So now, so let me just change the font to Anton. So Anton is Anton, in case you want to just note that for your designs. So this is Anton, right? Okay, so I just make it bigger. So what was the text that we had in the design? So let me just go back to our slides and see the text. So design your need. Okay, so I'm just going to write that here. I should actually change this to all caps. Design, sorry, your needs. Okay, let me change the color for now. Let me change the color of the background so that we can like see what is happening. So I'm going to go with a blue design. Actually, one way you can get like if you wanted to replicate a design and then you wanted to see what is the color that was used, you can just create a new file. So by creating a new file, you just upload what you're trying to replicate, for example. So what we're trying to replicate is, oh, I don't have it on this phone. Um, okay, I don't have it on this phone. How do I get it? Okay, just hold on 1 second. I'm going to, if I take a screenshot, it might end the call. Okay, maybe I'll come back to this point later. But anyway, I'm just going to select something blue, just for so we can continue the class without slowing things down too much. So the background color here is going to be something blue. So I went for this gradient color just to give it some flair. And now that we have this, we can just expand this to fit behind the lady and then change the color to white. Okay, make this bigger. Okay, now, so the first thing is that we can see that the text is in front of the lady now. But then from the design that we saw, it looked like the text was actually behind her. So what do we do here? We already know how to do layering. So we just go to layers, or since I've shown layer, let me use positioning. So you can just go to positioning. Once the text is selected, you can just press to back. And now you see that the text goes behind the lady. So we are good at the moment. Actually, I think the spacing the spacing between the text is too much. So I'm just going to adjust that. So you come to spacing and you can see line spacing. So you just reduce line spacing. That way they are closer to each other. Can we still see my screen? Okay. All right. So we can still see my screen. Thank you. Okay. So with that done, I just placed the lady in front of the text. Now I'm beginning to see that the font I selected might be a problem because it's too small. So we might have to change the font because it's too thin. So we might have to go back to Montserrat. Okay, so this should work. So let me change it to all caps. Please, if there's anything at any point I did that you don't understand, just call my attention to it. I'm very, very happy to go back and do it again. I'm moving at this space because I imagine you know how to do most of these things already. Okay, now that we are here, what we just have to do now is we just have to duplicate this um we just have to duplicate the text. Let me just crop this image so it's not so big. Okay, so now that we are here, we just what I'm going to do is duplicate this text so that we have like two layers of text. So one thing that's important to do here is that you have to make sure that the texts are on top of each other and then they sit very, very well. So now what am I going to do? I come here and I click on this duplicate button. So now you see that there is one text at the back and then there's one text at the front. So first thing I do is I just put them on top of each other. Now it might seem like the text is covering the lady's face, which is not what we are trying to achieve, which is where you come in with your text effect. So now the text effect that I advised you to use was the holo text. So once I click on holo, you see that we are already very, very close to what we're trying to achieve. Now the only problem here is that this the size of the holotext is too big, so it's still covering like majority of the lady's face. So what do? We just come to settings here and then we reduce it to like 1, and it's just like that we have the design that we were going for. So this is what we were trying to achieve, and then that is what we ended up with, which is very, very similar to basically is as similar as possible. Now, maybe one thing I'll do here is reduce the transparency of this one because it's really too thick. So now you have something like this. So that way, we've achieved basically everything that we were trying to achieve. Does everybody get? Did everybody get this? Okay, so Joy is saying she did not get how this was done. So Joy, do you mind coming up and like telling us where you do not understand from. Godwin, please can you bring up Joy so she can just tell us where she got lost so we can try and replicate it. Godwin.
Sorry, God, come again. What did you say, please?
Yeah, I wanted. Can you? So Joy is saying she did not understand how it was done. So I just wanted her to come up and then just tell us what where she did not understand. If there's something that she's and something particular that she did not
Okay,
get.
Joy, right? Her name is
Yes, Joy.
Joy. Okay.
Yes, on the comments.
She can speak now.
Okay, Joy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all
I,
right. So please, what part of it did you get lost?
I do not understand the last step you took.
Okay, the last step I took.
Yes.
All right, I'm just going to walk back what I did, and then hopefully when I repeat it, you can get a sense of what I did. Okay. All right. Thank
Okay,
you for
thanks.
your feedback.
All right, thanks.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to use the undo button to undo. So I imagine Joy probably knows how we got here to this point where the text is behind the lady. So now we have one text. So what did I do at this point? They are in position again. I'm unable to do mine. Okay. All right. So, do we understand how we got to this point where there's a text behind the lady and then there's a picture of the lady? Is everyone fine here at this point? All right. So, thank you for your feedback. Everyone knows how we got here. So, now it's from this point where it gets a little bit complex. So, what I did is I clicked on the text because how it works is there's a picture. Let me just use like a visual guide too. There's a layer. So if you understand what layers are, think of layers like again, my example is always pancake. You are making pancake, you fried it, you put one, you put another one on top, you put another one, and then you pour your syrup or however, right? So that's what it is like when you're designing. You have like layers, which is like the different elements on your page. Some of them are under others, some of them are on top of others. So manipulating how they are arranged is really how is the whole thing with this design. That is what like solves this design problem we have here, right? So currently now we have three things. We have two things, one on top of each other. We have the text behind the lady, and then we have the picture of the lady. What we need to do now is bring another text in front of the lady. So there's a text behind her, there's a picture of the lady like myself, and then there's a text in front of the lady. So that is three layers. So that's what I'm going to do here. So now I'm selecting, I'm highlighted on the text. All I do is duplicate. Now, how do you duplicate? You see this button here that I am clicking, that I'm holding down. This one that looks like copy and paste that has a plus on it. That's how you duplicate. You can also press the three buttons and then you see duplicate here. As long as, so whatever it is that you are selected on when you clicked those three dots is going to duplicate. So I'm going to click on duplicate. And then now we see that there's another text that is in front of the lady. So now there's the one behind her and then there's the one in front of her. Do we understand up to this point now? Can I get some feedback? Just let me know that we understand what I did up to this point. So Gotin is saying that's how we got his. So I imagine you understand what I mean. All right. So Praise is saying he understands how we got here. So now that you have a text in front of the lady and a text behind the lady, all you just have to do is put this text, put both texts on top of each other where like they are sitting on top of it. So right now it seems like it's just one text. Like it just seems like it is only the text in front of the lady that is here. But that's because we have layered it in a way that it is exactly sitting right, like it is sitting well. So that all you just have to do is go to effects. So when you come to effects here, you'll see the different kinds of effects you can apply. We covered effects last week. So I imagine if you were in last week's class, you know what effects do. So text effects are really like different things you can do to your text to just like make it have different designs. So now this one that is holo text, what it does is it removes the color that is inside the text and then just leaves the outline, like the border. So once I click on it now, you will see that it would just take out the color from the text, and all you get is just the outline. So what I did was I clicked on holo, and then I got to this point. Now, basically, the assignment is solved at this point. All we just have to do now is just focus on making it better. So how do we make it better? Now, first of all, we see that because of how thick the outlines are, it's really affecting it's covering the face of the lady too much. So we have to reduce that on it. So how do we do that? If you see on this holo effects thing, you see that there's like something like settings. So you can just click on that setting and then you see thickness. So if you see that thickness currently is on 50%, if I increase it to 100%, it will get thicker and then cover the lady more. So if I do the opposite of that, what it does is just reduce the thickness. So currently I'm leaving it on 1%. So now that is on 1%, we see that it is so much better now already. Like we can see the lady, we have the design, your needs, we can see the text. So that's what we did there. And then one last thing to just do, if you just want it so that the picture of the lady comes out a little bit more, you can just go to transparency on that same text and then just reduce the transparency further. So it's not as clear. And that way you have like, it just makes it better basically. So Joy, did what I did now, is it clear? Is this something you think you can redo? All right, so that is really it's really good to see that you understand how we got to this assignment. So the other things in the picture, I might not like really spend a lot of time in like in doing all of that. My font was not as bold as yours. Can you go through it again? Okay, so all of this was covered in the last class, Godson. So how do you make your font bold? We saw. Let me just make a duplicate of this. Oh, I'm trying to duplicate this, but for some reason, okay. So I'm going to duplicate this so we don't have to come back to it. Okay. So how did I make the font as bold? So what I did is, first of all, the first thing you have to do to notice is the kind of font you use will determine how bold your text would be. So we saw, for example, I picked the font before Anton, Anton, but then I found out that it wasn't as good as I wanted. So I went back to another kind of font. So currently the font I'm using, let me just go to it, is this Montserrat font. So if you see this is the name of the font. So we talked about font effects last week. If you sorry, font weight last week. So if you pick a font, you can either decide to make it bolder or less bold. How do you do that? Once that font is selected, you see this arrow here to the right. Just click on it, and then you see this example. So if you click on thin, you'll see that the text becomes like thinner. If you click on extra light, it will change it. If you click on light, you see that it's changing. You click on regular, click on medium, you click on semi bold, you click on bold. So currently, what we selected is bold. So basically, the answer to your question, how do I make my text bold, is just go to the font weight and then change it to bold. So not all of the texts have all of this like font weight. Some of them have only two or three. So you just have to decide like what is a good font for whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So is that clear? Does anyone have any question on this particular assignment or this particular design? So we can move forward. Don't feel like you're drawing us back. I'm very, very happy to go through anything, any kind of question you have. Okay, so I imagine everyone gets what we did. Okay, all right, thank you, Maria. So please, if you did not submit, I'm going to leave the submission link open for this particular assignment. So if you did not submit this, if you have submitted, don't worry about it. But if you've not submitted, I'm just going to leave it open for 1 more week so we can see more like design. So now I don't want you don't have to follow this particular design. I just want you to come up with whatever. It could be for your business particularly. So you might be promoting yourself, like maybe you are describing yourself as a content writer, or maybe you're describing yourself as, or maybe you sell clothes. So it doesn't have to be a picture of a person. Maybe you sell clothes or you sell cakes. It could really be anything. You just put the what it is that you do, and then just do something funky like this. So just really whatever, just play around and then just send me, just upload whatever it is you come up that is similar to this. I just want to see. Um, so somebody's asking if there are gifts for this week's assignment. Well, so we'll have to discuss with Godwin and see what Adara is willing to do. So we'll give feedback on that in the class because there weren't a lot of submissions, and I don't know how Adara wants to go with it. But I'll plead for everybody's case so that we get gifts this week, so to encourage people that submitted in today's class, right? Okay. Okay. So in terms of who did it best, participation trophy for everybody. It's really, I think for me personally, I think the one that I liked most, I think everybody did a great job. In fact, there were some people took different approaches and they came as close as possible to what we're trying to achieve. But for me, I think this is the one that I saw that was like exactly what we were trying to go for. So this one here, I'm not sure who did it. I'm going to check for the name. So that is who from the submissions that we got this week. This is the person that I think did it best. Also, this one is just as good. The only thing is just that the the color was not the same, which is really not. I shouldn't be penalizing them for that, but just for as a way to like learn consistency of like design. If you're trying to replicate something, just try and get as close as possible. So there's nothing wrong with this design. It's just the color consistency, which is just me being harsh. Anyway, but this one really like comes as close as possible to the design. Okay. All right. So I think we spent a lot of time on this assignment. So I'm just going to try and move on so we can cover other things. I haven't seen any questions, so I'm just going to assume everyone understood how to do this. Okay, so back to my slides. We have covered this. We had a lot of things that I wanted to cover today, so just bear with me while we try and get through some of those things. Okay, so now picking the right template for your designs. Again, like we said, it's really important when you are starting a design to pick something that puts you in a position to complete your design as fast as possible. See, for example, you're trying to design something that something to you're trying to announce like a price discount, for example. So maybe you used to sell something for 50,000 naira, you're slashing it to like 40,000. So that's like say what 5% discount. I think my math is terrible, so please forgive me if I'm doing terrible math there. You wanted to announce that on your Instagram, for example. So if you go into Canva now, for example, and then you pick a design that is totally unrelated to that, your color of your business is red, you pick something that is blue, maybe what you picked was like a wedding picture. All of those things really just increase the amount of work that you have to do when you are designing. So picking the right template for your design. Also, another thing is in terms of the orientation. We'll come to that. We are skipping ahead, but let me continue with the points I've already started making it. It's very, very important that if you are starting a design and you don't want to start from scratch, which if you want to be starting from scratch, it will help you improve your skills with Canva very, very fast. But the goal here is for entrepreneurs to make like really good graphics for their business to try and improve the visual perception of their business. So you can always go for something that is related to what you are doing. It's very, very okay to copy designs from people that are in your field. So personally for me, there was a design that I was doing for a client, and then the color was like blue. What came to my mind was, I don't know if you watch football, the color of the person's business is very, very close to Man City's color. I just went to Man City's page and then I just started taking from their designs and then just designing similar things for them. So that way I don't have to spend the time like thinking about what do I do today. There's already someone. You can imagine how much Man City pays their graphic designers. So you just go there and then you just copy what they do. As long as the colors are similar. So what I'm doing is just changing a little bit, and the business like what they sell is sport goods. So it really was just the easiest job ever. That's something that helps you like get ahead of time, for example. Now, nothing to consider when you're picking the right template for your design is the dimension of the template that you are picking. So one challenge that you will face sometimes is, so maybe for example you want to do a post for like an Instagram post like on your feed, and then you also want to use it for your Instagram story. If you do something like that, or maybe you want to post a reel and then you also want to make it like you also wanted to make like another post with it. If you design one, you will see that it won't fit. So it's very, very important that you make sure that when you're starting your design, You pick like something that fits in terms of like dimension what you're trying to design. So let me just go back to demonstrate that point. Um, 1 second. Boom. Okay. So here for example now, if I wanted to start my design, and for example, I was going for something that is going to go up on Instagram Reels, for example. I click on this plus button, and then you would see what would you like to create. Just tell Canva what it is you are trying to create. That way you don't have to spend time remembering what is the dimension for Instagram posts. So you don't have to. So this is custom size here. This part that says custom size is if you want to create something that is like special, it is not like you want some like one particular dimension. Maybe your printer has told you that this design for you to send it to me for me to be able to print it, it must be 1000 by 1200. So if that's your case, you just click on custom size, and then you can just click on height and weight. So you can go for something like 1000 by 1200. So that way you get like a custom design. But if you are creating something that is going on the internet, Canva has most of the templates already. So you don't have to do all of this. All you just have to do is you're creating an Instagram reel, just come here and write reel. How do I bring up my sorry, I think my phone is misbehaving. Okay, so you come here and you type reel, reel. Pardon me, I can't spell. Okay, so this is it, for example. So Instagram Reel portrait cover or Instagram Reel. So you see that the size here is 1080 by 1920. You don't have to do all of this work in remembering. You just click on Reel, and that way you know that no matter what you design, it's if you are posting an Instagram Reel, you will not have to do any extra cropping or anything. You will just get like something that fits perfectly to what you are trying to design. So this is very, very important to as your starting point for designing. Just make sure that you are clicking on something that fits with what you're trying to achieve, which is what this poster is saying. So for on Instagram, for example, there are different kinds of dimensions. So the Instagram post 4 by 5, which all of these things don't really matter, but they are just wanted to show you like some of what is different. If you type Instagram, for example, it would help you like select something that fits very, very well on the Instagram template. So these are other examples. Also, there are two for you. I imagine you're going to be doing mostly Instagram posts. Like so, like mostly like if you go to Instagram, the feed posts, the posts that are on feeds. So there are two different types. There's the portrait one that is longer. I always advise people to pick on this portrait one. Let me show you the difference on Canva. So there's Instagram portrait and then there's Instagram square. This they both fit into the Instagram feed size, but then the Instagram portrait gives you more space. So if you're designing something that is going to be really busy, it's going to have like a lot of images, it's going to have like a lot of text, just go with portrait. It's basically you just buy extra space, and then you don't have to do any cropping or anything when you go to Instagram. So that's what I mean by this page. So there's Instagram portrait that is 1080 by 1350, and then there's Instagram square that is 1080 by 1080. You do not have to care about these numbers. Just make sure that when you are searching for your template, you just remember to use like the names that you want that are appropriate. So now, what are the considerations you should make when picking a template for your design? We have started talking about this already. One thing to do to note is that you should consider what is the purpose of your design, which is what we're covering already, where you have to decide is this thing going to go on something like say TikTok, for example. So like this is not going on TikTok, this is not going on Instagram, it's going on TikTok. TikTok has its own different like dimensions. So you just have to make sure that you get that. And then the way you design for TikTok is different from the way you design for an Instagram post, for example. So just start with the mindset of what am I designing, and then how do I get the best template for it. Also, you should also choose a template that matches your brand identity. So, like what I had said, where if you are searching for a template, for example, and then your color is like red. So, let me say, for example, you are designing, you have like an auto shop, for example. So, let's go back and see you wanted to design something for so maybe like you sell cars, for example, or maybe like you work in a auto workshop. So let's see auto automotive industry. So let's see something like this, and then let's see what are the options that we get, and then we can walk through how do we pick the one that is best for our design. So now, if you see something like this, and then for example, your color is like red, this first one is already like pretty good for you because you know you're not doing a lot of work. All you just have to do is adjust the text, for example. So another one here has this yellow, so you can really pick something like this. So some of these are um premium templates, so you might not be able to select some of them. But just make a note, like in your make a note just to know that if you want to pick something that is going to like give you the easiest time to design. You don't want to sometimes when you start one something that happens to me every time is like I pick a template, and then when I start designing it, it starts looking ugly in my eyes because I've changed it so much from where I started. So I don't like it anymore. And I've spent all of this time and I just abandoned the design. But if you pick something where you don't have to make too many changes, it just makes your work a lot easier. Does anyone have any question from everything I've been saying? Like, if there's anything I have said after the assignment that you don't understand, please just at any point you can ask me a question. Okay. Um. So back to this. Um. Okay, so I'll show you like what are the examples of templates that you can choose to work with. So you just pick something. Always make sure that you're picking something that like is as close as possible to your brand. So you're not doing a lot of work because consistency is very important. If you spend too much time designing things, you're going to get really tired of designing quickly, and then you're just going to stop being consistent. So it's important that you're not spending too much time designing, giving yourself like the easiest time with designing, so that way you can get things fast and you can just move on to tomorrow's design. Okay, so the third thing is think about the type of content you'll be creating, which also like informs what kind of options you'll be choosing when you're downloading. So, for example, if you design a video on Canva, and then we'll be talking about how to work, like how to design videos on Canva in a future class. If you design a video on Canva and then you download it as a PDF, you already see that there's a clash in the file format, so that way your video is not going to be playing. So just always make sure you remember like what it is that you're designing. So it's you design it to so you might design like a YouTube banner, for example. So maybe like you're a blogger or something, and then you want to so all those videos that YouTube bloggers put as their as their video, what do you call it, thumbnail, for example. So make sure that it's something that's going to work for YouTube. YouTube has some like requirement, it cannot be more than 10 MB. So just make sure you are within all of those things so you don't have to do double work. Again, another thing is consider how much customization you want to do. This is something we've covered where I was talking about make sure that you pick something that is close to what you're trying to achieve. And then the other one is check the resolution and file type. We've covered that. And then look at the design style and color scheme. So again, the consistency of what you've chosen as your brand color. I imagine by this time, everybody in this class must have chosen what is their brand color. Like you must know the code inside your head. Even if you don't have it in your head, you have written it out somewhere. And you must know what is your font. Now let's just do a quick like check on chat. So please just let me know what is your business color code and what is your business font. Just let me know in chat. I just want to see how many people have it in mind. In fact, this is a good way to just see how we are thinking like going forward. So please just let me know in chat what is your my business color code and what is my font. I mean yours. So black and white is a good answer, but then what I wanted is a code. So colors have codes where I don't know if you how many classes you've been in, but we covered color codes at the beginning of the class. So for example, white is FFFFF or I think 00000. So all colors have codes. So black and white is a color, but then I want it to be specific to the color code. It is very concerning that I'm not seeing any color codes here or people. What's happening? Okay, so I'm seeing some feedback now. So color code is FF, it's B7C3. Okay, so let's see what that color is on Canva. I'm just going to select any design so we can see what Blessing's business color is, just to demonstrate what the color code is to people that might not know what it is. So to check what color, like what, if you see a code like this, for example, you want to see what it is, all you just have to do is click on any element, or you can just click on your background and click on color. So once you click on color, you can come here to this color wheel and then just click on plus. And then this part here that has like FFFFF, you can just edit it into the color that you saw. So somebody is saying FF B7C3. Okay, so this is Blessing's business color code, which is a very, very nice looking, like pink. It has this pastel effect. Because I'm seeing more answers now. There's 13429A. So let's see what that looks like. Again, you come to, oops, sorry, solid color. So let's see 13429A. 13429A. So this is a very, very bold blue color, which I actually pretty like. It's a very, very nice color for. So Ayontola, what kind of business do you do? I'm interested in knowing what kind of business you do and why you chose this color. Just let us know in chat what kind of business you do. Okay, so dry cleaning. Yeah, so this is a very, very good color for dry cleaning. So this kind of color shows like you're a brand that anyone can trust. It just kind of, it suggests, not that it shows, it suggests to anyone that this color is like, this is a very, very solid business that is pretty reliable. And then you should not have any fear leaving your clothes with iron toner. So anybody that wants to dry clean and you're in the area, according to iron toner, you can be pretty sure that their business is going to give you the best service based on what their color code is suggesting. I'm trying to join back my phone so we can look at some other colors. Let's just look at one or two more and then we can go back to our content. Okay, so another one that we got was five. So let's 222 22333B. So, class, if at this point you haven't decided on any color for your business, please, it's very, very important so you can maintain consistency with your designs. Just pick one. You can always change it, but going forward, just always make sure that you are starting, that is your starting base of color. If you decide to change it, make sure you're changing it like generally, and then just stick to whatever it is you decide to go with. Okay, so I have 222 33. Okay, sorry, it's two twos, and there's a B. Okay, so this is a very, very bold red color, which is pretty attractive. What kind of business do you do, Aboyeji? Aboyeji, what kind of business do you do? Okay, so Aboyeji does fashion, which yeah, so this is a very, very good color for fashion. It's pretty bold, it's pretty like daring. So I think okay, but that's not the color. So maybe I have something a wrong code. Sorry, let me just join back and then we can check again. Sorry, 1 second. I'm joining the class again. Okay, so I'm already saying I have a wrong color. So let's just confirm that solid color. Oh, okay, I see the mistake. Sorry. So let me go back to your message. So it's 222 223 3 and then B. Okay, so this is the color here. So it's like a mix of green and blue, pretty deep. So like a pretty deep blue. That's what it looks like. So anyway, well done, Inspired Nigeria. I can see your color. This looks like a blue, if I am correct. Let's just quickly check that. So 7070. So why I'm doing all of this is so we can all see how we can check a color, how we can pick color. I introduced the tool like can help anyone pick colors. I think the name of the tool is colors.com, COOLORS.com. So if you want to like pick a brand color, you can go there to just give you random colors and then you can decide what you want. So that's a start for if you've not chosen your brand color, you can go there and start. Okay, so Inspired Nigeria has this really nice blue, which which is really awesome. All right, so that it's good to see that a lot of us are already thinking about branding and consistency. So that's pretty encouraging. So let's see what we can cover in today's class. I actually planned for us to replicate two designs, but it's seeming like our time is fast spent. So we'll start tomorrow with the replicating the designs. Let me just sorry, this keeps happening. My phone has gone off the call again, so I'm going to join back so we can just wrap up today's content. Apologies for okay. At this point, any questions in terms of what we've covered for today? Okay. All right. So we're supposed to recreate some two designs today. Can we finish this? So this is a picture I saw from Instagram from a brand Panarotti. So basically, it's like a pizza shop, and then I thought it was something that we could learn from because it has some really good qualities. Like it has like a picture of someone. So maybe any kind of business you do, I'm sure this is the kind of flyer that you would probably want to be making to advertise your business. So it has like a good subject. It has a very very bold font, and it has like really funky background. So these two designs are designs I want us to replicate. In fact, maybe I can just turn it to an assignment. Yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll send one of them as an assignment. So we get feedback on. So we'll see like some submissions. Do we think we'll be able to complete one of these designs between today and tomorrow's class? So class, just let me know. Like, I want us to complete one of these designs. Do we think we can complete one between today and tomorrow? Ayotola is saying yes. I have some pictures your friend sent me to design, but I couldn't. I could just forward them to the group chat. Okay, so yes, you can just forward them to the group chat. We would try and tackle them. So at any point, if there's something you are trying to do on Canva that you could not, maybe there's something you saw you're trying to replicate, you can send it to the group chat, and then if we have time at the end of any class, we can just try and replicate it. So some people are saying no, some people are saying yes. Okay, so it's really important that if you are going to, whether you decide to go on the entrepreneurship path or you decide to go as be a graphic designer, you are going to face like really, really limited deadlines because if you're working for yourself, you're going to have like spontaneous ideas where you somebody said they want to start with the first one because it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so like as I was saying, you're going to have like to come up with designs very, very fast. So I think between today and tomorrow is long enough to design something, right? I know there might be like some power challenges. I'm also having power challenges, but I think we should be able to design one of them. So I'm going to go for the easier one. I'm just going to, it's really straightforward. There's not too many layers here. It's really just picking out elements for the background, finding ways to change the color for those elements so that they fit into the background well without disturbing the foreground. By the foreground, I mean the lady, that's just the girl, and then the font, and then the tomato cartoon. So for that tomato cartoon, you can use whatever. You can use anything that comes. So you can. I want you to design something like this for your own business, right? So it won't be for this particular brand. I want it to be for something you do. So just tell us like so let's imagine you're doing a product launch. So if you are like a fashion designer and you have a new collection, if you are like a you make food. So let's say, for example, you're adding something new to your menu. So I want you to have something like this as part of your assignment for tomorrow. I think I've given another assignment, so that's two assignments. Okay, so for people that were not able to attempt the assignment that we did today, if you're able to complete it, you can do that. But the main assignment for tomorrow's class is to design this one here. The first one, I'm going to send it on the group with instructions. So hopefully we get like a good number of people that can attempt it. Even if you cannot finish it, if you struggle with something too much, just submit what you can do, right? It doesn't have to be excellent. It doesn't have to be the best design. It's just important that if you attempt it at all, it will give you like a better understanding of what if when we are doing it in class, like you have a better idea of how you can actually complete because then you get like hand-on experience with designing it. So then basically we have decided as a class that we're going to attempt the first one. So I'm going to send the link where we can just submit it to from today till maybe like 3 o'clock tomorrow. So I can include it in my slides and then we can walk through it tomorrow. So don't we'll be covering both designs in tomorrow's class, but I just want us to attempt it because this is what the class is going to be going forward. Once we get into like designing emails and things like designing infographics, designing YouTube banners, designing TikTok banners, all of those things, we're just going to come into the class. I'm going to open suggestions to whatever we should be designing for that day. Anyone can bring up anything, and together we'll just tackle it, and then we address whatever challenges we face in the class and then we move forward because that's I want it to be like a class where everyone is trying to attempting to design and then because that's really the only way to learn. Like just watching me do some of these things, it might seem easy, but then you might go back and then try to do it, and then you see that you would struggle with how I did some of the things. Which there's also the option of looking at the YouTube videos that we upload. So if you at any point there's something you're struggling with, you can also go back to YouTube to try and get a sense of how you can complete tasks that you're given in class. All right. So the last thing that I wanted to cover in today's class is the graphic design tool of the week. So sometimes, for example, this assignment that I give, if you look at the picture we have here, you will see that there's this font here, the back to school font, for example. You might want to like get a font that fits, that looks exactly like it, and you might find it challenging, right? So you can use this tool here to upload a picture. If you upload a picture on this website, it would give you fonts that are as close as possible to the font in the picture. I'm going to show you an example of how to do that. So if you're replicating designs, you can just take a picture, take a screenshot, and then upload that picture to this website, and it will tell you like these are similar fonts. Sometimes it give you the exact font, but it doesn't always give you the exact font because it's a picture. So I'm going to open whatthefont.com so we can see what that looks like. Um, there with me. So I'm going to go to my browser. Whatthefont.com. Okay. All right, so it's coming up now. It's going to bring you to this page here. Now, what you can do here is just click on upload an image. Again, go to your photo library. Let me see. There's something that has fonts here. Okay, so we can use this fan plug one for example. So you select this. Once you've selected it, you click on done. So it's going to upload the image to the website. So you just give it time to work. So once it uploads, it will allow you select any part of the font that you want to replicate. So let's just wait for that picture to come up. While we wait, if there's any question at any point, you can let me know. I'm very, very happy to answer any question. Okay, so now that it has come up, you're able to move around this thing to any part of the picture. You can also expand it, you can reduce it, you can really just select any part of it. And you can see that as you are moving it around, it's like highlighting those text. You can see those black thing around the air, for example. So you once you've but just make sure that you keep it to like the same font. So you don't put two different fonts inside the box. So I'm just going to do this air is for example. Because this is one font, and then you just click on identify font. So you just have to wait a little bit for it to suggest fonts that are similar to it. So now all of them might not be on Canva. Also, all you just have to do is try. You will probably find one of them that is on Canva. I think Karina, for example, is on Canva. So you just make sure you make note of the name. So these are the different examples. You just make sure you note of the name. Also, if you do something like UI UX design, this is going to be very very helpful. Something like Canva has basically all of this. Sorry, something like Figma, for example, has all of these fonts. But because of its Canva, we are using it a little bit limited. If I don't have every single thing, but basically, it's just a way to like get any font you want. So let's say, for example, now let's look for Marquee, for example. I'm just hoping this is on Canva. So you let me open Canva. So you add a text. I'm just going to pick this add a heading. So once you click on add a heading, you go to font and then you look for something like Marquee. Okay, so you didn't find Marquee, you just have to go back and look for another one. So let me see, Karina, for example. Um, okay, he couldn't find Karina. Let me see, regional. Okay, you didn't find regional again. Okay, so basically, it's sometimes because of the limits of fonts in Canva. Now, Canva allows you upload fonts like your own personal fonts, but that's not something you can do on the free tier. So if you use this website and then you don't find the font, something you can just do is just go to fonts and then just look by yourself with your eyes. Basically, it's a free tier of Canva. So those are some of the things that they use to try and get you to pay for the full tier. So if you don't find it, you just scroll, you will see something similar to it. Um, Times New Roman looks kind of close to it, for example. But anyway, just so we don't get caught up in like in the sidetrack. What the font is, you can just try it sometimes. It gives you really good results sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't give you great results. Now, why it doesn't give you great results is because it's an image. If you put a text on an image and you download it as an image, if it was a PDF, for example, now it does a better job with PDFs, for example. But because it's an image, it's really difficult for AIs to like get like the font from like from an image. So that's just something to bear in mind. And I think that would be it for today's class. We were supposed to design these two elements to this was also supposed like the main thing we were supposed to do, but we spent a lot of time on reviewing assignments and replicating it. So tomorrow we'll be starting with these two designs. Again, try your best. It doesn't have to be exact, but just put in your best effort to design it as close as possible. I'm going to put all of the instructions in the group chat. And with that, that concludes today's class. Does anyone have any question, any feedback? If there's something you designed that you wanted to share with us, this is a good time. Any feedback, any questions? They said there's like a topic you want us to cover again. Okay, so Blessing has a question. Okay, God, please, can we bring up Blessing so she can ask a question?
Okay, just a second. Okay, she has access.
Okay, sir. Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sir, please, how do we get how do we know the color of a design? You were saying something about it before, you didn't finish it. Like that example, that assignment you gave us. You said to
Okay.
get the color. How can we get it through Canva on Canva?
All right, no problem. I'll show you how to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so how do you get the color of a design in Canva? In fact, that's a very, very great question. Thank God Blessing asked that question so people don't struggle with it tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to, when you want to get the color of a design, all you just have to do is upload it, like upload the picture to your, like just upload it basically. So let's say, for example, we wanted to get, oops, sorry, no, that's not what I was going for. Wanted to get the color. I'm not going to. I don't have this picture of the one the assignment picture. I don't have it on this phone, but I'm just going to use another design, for example, just to show you how you can get the color. So this is one something we did last week. So let's say, for example, you wanted to get what is the color of this design. I uploaded it before, but I'm just showing you that what you do first of all is you upload it. So if you uploaded it, you just click on it and put it on the page. Right. So now that it is on the page, you would see that if you go to color here, for example, like not just clicking on your background and you go to color and you press this arrow up, you will see something here that pops up that says photo colors. So it will show you all of the colors in any kind of design that you uploaded. So if, for example, if it was that green one from the assignment I uploaded now, it will have shown me all of the different colors on it. So this is one way to do it. You can just see if this was the red that I was looking for. I can just pick on this red now, and you see that I have changed the background here. I can always just go to, sorry, I can go to color here now, click on this color wheel, and I would see that the color that was on that red was FE3130. Do you get how I did it, Blessing? Okay, so that's one way to do it, is just like that. Another way to do it is, let me just undo so we get back to where we were. So now that it is uploaded here, you can just come to color. So click on the background again, come to color, click on this color wheel, and then click on this pen. This thing that looks like a pencil. It is called an eyedrop ticker. Basically, just think of it like as if you click on it, it will bring up this circle thing. This circle thing, if you move it around, it would give you the color of anything that is on top of. So if I was looking for this color of this red one now, I just leave it on top and I press done, and it will tell you that that color is FE3030. If I wanted to get the color of this blue, for example, I just make sure that you will see the color of the circle changing. So you just be sure that where you want it to be. So I leave it on this blue now. I press done. It will give me the color. It is 288080B8. So that's how you can get any color of any design, basically. So I hope that answers the question, right? Any other question? Okay, so that's great that it was also useful for Godson. So thank you, Blessing, for asking that question. Very, very important question. I'm very, very happy you asked that question. So I think that covers it for today. In the absence of no other question, I'm going to hand over to Godwin. Does anyone have anything else they want to add? Okay, so Godwin, I think that's it for today. Thank you very much, class. So I
Oh,
look forward to
okay.
tomorrow. I'll upload the link for the website for the link for the assignment. I'll upload it in the chat in the WhatsApp group, and then I'll also upload some like add some instructions for completing the assignment. Someone is asking where's my headset. I have like I feel I'm not feeling too well today, so pardon my lack of preparation. I'm really struggling here, particularly. So thank you for noticing my headset is not here. All right, thank you. So Godwin, you can continue.
Thank you so much. For your
Uh,
participants are asking about your headset. That means you are
yeah,
paying
I saw
so much
it.
attention to details. That's really interesting. And thank you so much, guys, for your commitment, and I really appreciate that. Thank you to those that actually did their assignments. And that was really good. We'll find a way, as usual, as our culture, to reward those that, do their assignment appropriately and just to motivate you to, keep the fire going. So please do follow us on all social media platforms, Adara Foundation on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And also, please, if you are, I believe that some persons here are from Yedi, Nigeria. So if you do not, I would be reaching out to one of your program manager in Yedi, Nigeria, so that would add you guys to the WhatsApp platform. And then it's very important for you to be on the WhatsApp platform so that you can get necessary information about the next modules, the next course, and something to celebrate about social media management is coming up right after graphic design. So, guys, I just want to say thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow, same time, and looking forward to meeting all of you again tomorrow. Take care and have a good evening. Bye.